So we see how that the Bible made us understand that when the time came for them to bring forth Jesus, a decree went forth that scriptures might be fulfilled, that everybody should go back to their own country so that they can be taxed. The Bible says that Mary and her husband went back to Bethlehem, and whilst they were there in Bethlehem, it came upon her that she had to bring forth her baby. And at that point in time, the Bible said there was no room for them in the inn. There was no room for them in the places that are necessary for people to even deliver. The Bible made us understand that the only place where they could find a place for delivery was in a manger. Was in a manger. Didn't look like a place where kings are born. Because don't forget that we're talking about the King of Kings. How will a king be born in a manger? Well, that's a reality. The reality of history has come to prove one thing clear. That most people always begin in the direction that is diametrically opposite to what their destiny presupposes. What does that mean? It simply means that you might be destined for the throne, your beginning might not look like it. It's therefore dangerous for you to use my little beginning to judge what my future will look like. I have always stated in this church, never use how people come to church to judge what their future will look like. And I've seen it happen over and over again in those years of talking about it. I've seen it happen in our church. I've seen people that they didn't look like anything in those days, how that God has turned their lives around. I've said all of that to say that you may be born in a manger, but it doesn't mean that's where you will live, because eagles are usually born in the nest. So I know that we all think about Jesus, but we all just forget the fact that this Jesus who was born in a manger, don't forget we are like him. So everything about Jesus is supposed to remind us about ourselves. That if he was born in the manger, I want to ask you a question today. Where is Jesus right now? Huh? Jesus is way up there in heaven, sitting at the right hand of who? If a man can rise from the lowest point on earth to the highest of the highest, it therefore tells you that there is still hope for you. Christmas is all about hope. That is why Jesus is about good news. And we're not here to tell you about what happened to Jesus and then make you think that it can never happen to you. No, if it happened to Jesus, it can happen to you if he lives in you. Is there anybody who has been born in a manger here? Are there people who were born in mangers here? Manger, I'm talking about manger. I'm not saying you were born as a manager. You were born as in the manger. I came to talk to people like that. Pastor, you'll be invited to a pastor. You were invited, you didn't apply. You were invited to a pastor's conference. And then as soon as you're driving down, because of the kind of car you arrive at, they tell you to park in popular place. Because I came with a Nissan Bluebird 2.0 that looks like something that is about to fly on its own. So upon arrival, it defines where you should park. We are all pastors. But then you will come to realize now that even though you are all pastors, what you arrive in now defines your class. That's how bad it is. And then again, the ushers have been trained, so smart ushers. They've been trained to look at how you dress again to decide where they also tell you to sit. So we had a permanent place where we had a permanent seat in the United Nations. Usually at the back. Or where camera won't pick us so that we do not become an insult to their projection. But glory be to God and thanks be to God who will never leave his own to see corruption. Glory and honor be to this God who will never leave the poor in the dunghill, but knows how to bring the poor from the dunghill, from the mangers of life, and put them with the prince of his people. And I'm not just sharing my story. I'd like you to think about your own life. Look at where God has brought you from. If there is any grateful person in this house this morning, looking back, you know where God has brought you from. You know it's been from the guttermost to the uppermost. I'd like you to lift up your hands and give the Lord a shout of praise in the house of God.